We're back with 5 more interesting side deck choices that I've kind of noticed kind of coming out of events and things like that. So these are my interpretations in little fun things that we see on these cards. So it's up to you. We want to follow the advice. It's just, this is kind of what we're noticing, kind of what's going on a little bit. So bear with me and things like that. So, show some love in this video, show some likes. You guys know what I mean. And without further ado, let's dig on into this discussion. Shall we? Alright, our first interesting side deck card has been Lava Golem. And I was kind of thinking about this a little bit today. I was like, so we're at the point in the format now to where certain decks aren't putting 3 monsters on the field. I know there's this super huge build a board and on like multiple monsters. And then there's just some decks that can't afford to give up their normal summon. It's like sphere mode is not optimal for these. So we started to head down towards Lava Golem Express over here. Mr. Lava Golem, 2 tributes, put it on the field. You can burn your opponent in time, which, I mean, if you're telling me that we're playing this because we can out double monsters and ping our opponent for damage, I would say that you're an absolute genius in terms of Yu-Gi-Oh strategy and a scumbag at the exact same time. And I admire it. So that's basically what's going on at this point. Kaiju's not seeing a lot of play at the moment, which, I mean, okay, like, Kaiju's their own, they've taken a back seat for the longest time in this format, so that doesn't shock me. Sphere mode representation has also been down, which, I mean, you know which decks are going to be playing it. It's just, ever since that Goki bullshit, like, there hasn't been a lot of it. So, it doesn't really shock me that Pendulums were the one that have been kind of poking me a little bit more with Lava Golem. I think it was a dinosaur deck that was also playing Lava Golem in the side, and I was like, you know, that's pretty cheeky for what you're trying to do with it, but I'm still very fearful of giving my opponent a monster, especially in Orcus combo days right now, because it's like, if you don't get that monster off of the field, you're dealing with a 3,000, but that damage could be enough to win you the game in time. Thanks, current Yu-Gi-Oh! And match procedures. I love you too, as we should. Now, the next one is actually Spell Canceller, and this was coming across a winning, Necros list. I had it in the side deck, and I was like, why are Necros doing this? First up, I haven't seen Necros do shit half of this format. I think week 1 of this format, there was talk about Necros doing good, you know, and literally the restrictions lifted, and it was a good time. And then I don't know what the fuck happened. Necros become mass affordable, and the few good players that played it just didn't want to play it. I don't know. But Spell Canceller this isn't the first time we've seen it in the side deck, actually, this format. I don't remember where it was, but earlier, a couple weeks back, I caught it in a side. I was like, allowing our opponent not to activate spells literally just fucks Sky Striker. Like, Sky Striker, like, oh, well, you know, you can't really do anything. And you're like, well, yeah, you're right. Like, it's kind of like the Jinzo of the format. It's like, if you can get it on the field and your opponent can't really do anything about it, but I mean, your opponent can just put a Sky Striker on the field and just attack over it, because, you know, both Kagari and Shizuku are going to just kind of be over it. And I mean, you're putting a machine on the field, so even like your Cyber Dragon matchup, it's kind of going to be booty. But that's not the matchups we're going for. We're going for detrimental matchups that need a lot of spells. Mystic Mine? God, if you summon Spell Canceller against Mystic Mine, you're my hero. Like, I actually appreciate you as a player. Like, you're that level of counter picking, and you understand how to play the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! But the card's so expensive right now. Like, and by so expensive, I mean it's not reprint affordable. So unless you're going out of your way and spending a good chunk of extra money for it, yeah, like, just kind of be aware of that. Little shenanigans you can do with Spell Cancel at the moment. Next up is Fantasma, and I saw this a lot this weekend, and I'm really shocked about this, actually. Has Fantasma's worth in the main deck actually dropped off that much? Like, is it not that good in the main anymore? And this was mainly coming from Orcus list. I thought a majority of Orcus decks wanted to have access to this, but I guess I'm wrong at this point. Good 4 to 5 lists this weekend. We're citing Fantasma. I'm like, wow. I mean, I guess you only really care about it against Sky Striker at the moment, if that. Like, you get the non-targeting protection, which is fucking phenomenal. But outside of that, the card has fallen that much that we've pushed it to the side deck. Now, I haven't seen a lot of solid lists at the moment, which is kind of interesting. And I'm not sure if they're still maining Fantasma. I assume that they're still maining Fantasma. It's still one of the better cards. But this is really an Orcus side deck trend at the moment, that we've just pushed this card into the side deck. That's interesting. I don't know if that's correct. Don't get me wrong. Like, I enjoy me some Fantasma, shenanigans with the full draw power and everything else that it gives to you, but that's an interesting one, especially in today's format, because you'd want to put the extra body on the field, but I mean, at the same time, you don't want to be going second. And I mean, Fantasma just lets you draw cards, and if you're already not playing hand traps in the main, it's kind of one of those cards that, like, you do need the other hand traps to make it good, kind of like Max C. You can draw all the cards you want, but, like, you're trying to draw into another card to further stop your opponent if they are taking the challenge. So I think it's one of the mentalities people kind of forget about here is, yes, Max C is good, but it's the cards that go with it, the Ash, the Fantasma, that actually make it all the better. So there's that. On the same paradigm here, I've actually been seeing Ash go to the side. In addition to, I've been seeing Ash in 2 copies in decks, which I guess we're really following those OCG trends. I mean, they can't play 3, but fuck it. I guess we've been proven that you don't have to play 3. So here's the interesting thing about this being in the side at this point. You have a card that means that players are side decking it in. If they're going second, Ash is a card that they're making room and pushing for in their deck. I overall think at this point in the format, hand trap representation is down. And that doesn't shock me because, I mean, sometimes one hand, I really want to say that, like, you're going to have a better time biting the bullet instead of trying to break their board, what they establish, instead of trying to interrupt them with a hand trap, because I guess the hand trap just might be a neg, which is pretty interesting mentality that some players are having, if that's actually the case. But at this point, hand traps, I've literally only seen Ash, maybe a couple stray ghost bells. Ogre's decent at the moment, but I don't know what's really going on with that at the moment. So, but yeah, Ash is in the side at this point in time for some decks. Not everything. No. This is more like, I think it was like 3 I saw this week. I was like, Ash is in the side. And then you've got the people that also were citing Fantasma. You're like, alright guys, you're shenanigansing. And I don't really like that at all. But, at this point in time, I'm gonna I'll take the interest and say, yeah, players are playing Ash on the side. Yeah, hand trap representation kind of down. Doesn't really shock me at this point. But these are the trends and how the format evolves. Like, players have to understand the format evolves daily, weekly. I think you're going to see the bigger evolutions weekly, but it is interesting, and it is a living creature. So there's that. And last up on our list here is Imperial Order. Now, this I almost feel is strictly for Mystic Mine. Now, obviously, Mystic Mine has bullshit answers built into the deck called Unending Nightmare. And, Order's not going to do a lot, but 4 decks I saw were like, hey, I'm going to side Imperial Order. Now, it is kind of an auto-win button against Sky Striker, which, in the same category as Spell Canceller, I mean, you put it on the field, your opponents kind of struggle and just look at you and be like, why do you hate me so much? So I do want, for the most part, for you to understand that Spell Canceller seems better to me than Imperial Order, but Imperial Order is more of a blowout against Sky Striker. Spell Canceller, I mean, just a blowout against everything. You can resolve it successfully. So it's the little things in the format that make me happy. And seeing Imperial Order kind of show up again in the side, pretty okay with me. So, where are we going here? We have a YCS coming up. This YCS is going to probably dictate a couple of interesting things. In terms of dedication and things like that in the format, give it time. We'll see where things are going with side deck trends after this event. I'll do another updated video. We'll talk more about that. But this is kind of everything from last video I made to this one. It's literally everything. Like, there's literally like 10 to 12 good side deck cards. This is where it is. So maybe I'll make my top 5 video, top 5 extract monsters for June, because I was thinking about that, but we'll get to that point. Alright guys, please leave a comment down below to how much you guys think about these side deck cards, and well guys, I'm out. Peace. The ride never, well, truly ends. Thank you, patrons. Without you guys, I don't know what I'd be wearing in these videos. I might be a truffle shuffle incident all over again. Guys, please also check out Vanquil40 for some awesome Vanguard content. Some other interesting stuff you might find up here on the left or in the description as well. Thanks for watching.